For the first time in 10 days, the Hastings Sodbusters return tonight to Duncan Field, hosting the Western Nebraska Pioneers. I'm Will Reynolds. Thank you for joining us tonight on Expedition League TV and later on Mixler.com/Hastings Sodbusters. Tonight, it's a matchup on this field that was 10 days ago these two teams played. The Western Nebraska Pioneers took 2 games from the Sodbusters. They've taken all 5 they've played against Hastings so far this season. Tonight, Hastings probably with its best chance to get a victory with Trey Kissick on the mound. Kissick has faced the Pioneers before. Back on June 11th, 11 days ago, he threw 6 innings, 11 strikeouts, 1 walk, 3 earned runs, and 9 hits. Got a no decision in that contest as Hastings blew a late lead and lost 5-3. On the other side, it's Brandon Morse on the mound for the Western Nebraska Pioneers. And Brandon Morse is back on the mound after last pitching on June 12th, where he made a relief appearance in the series finale in that quick 2-game set here at Duncan Field. So he's getting the start tonight for the Pioneers out of Paris Junior College in Texas. So we'll take a quick look at the lineups for tonight. Leading off for the Western Nebraska Pioneers will be Andrew Bates. He's playing center field. Batting second is Brandon Boning, who's at shortstop tonight. Luther Woolard is the DH in the 3 spot. Jack Pauley is the right fielder, batting cleanup. Bo Bratton is the catcher, batting 5th. Colin Ludwig batting 6th at third base. Isai Hernandez playing first. Then Travis Turney and Lane Harvey in the 9 hole. For the Hastings Sodbusters, you have Tyler Doherty in center field. He got the night off on Wednesday in Minot. Then Austin Elder at the DH spot, caught the last game in Minot, so he'll have some fresh legs for the rest of this series. Sean Bardale is in right field. Then cleanup is Jake Oblas at first base. Colby Force in left. He's been a force in the lineup for the Sodbusters so far. Carter Elliott at third base, still dealing with some arm troubles, but should be good to go this evening. Brooks Asher catching behind the plate. And Josh Earps at short, DeSantis up the middle at second base with Trey Kissick on the mound. Some updated league standings for you. The Souris Valley SaberDogs have won 8 straight. They're at 18-8, leading all teams in the Expedition League. Then the Badlands Big Sticks are on a bit of a slide their last 11 games. They sit at 14-10. Pierre is at 10-13, and Hub City's at 10-15 in the Lewis division. And then the Clark division, these Pioneers lead it at 16-7. Spearfish in second place, 5 games back at 11-12. And then Hastings and Horseheads round out the division. 10-15 record for Hastings, 8-17 for Casper. So the road trip that the Sodbusters just went on, they got back yesterday. 8 games in about 9 days, playing first in Spearfish, then in Dickinson against the Big Sticks, and then Minot to round out the trip where they got swept by the Souris Valley SaberDogs. Hastings won the first game in Spearfish, lost the second. Then they traveled to Dickinson where they took the first 2 or 3 against the Badlands Big Sticks, and they finished the season series over the Big Sticks, winning 4 out of the 6. And then against the SaberDogs of Souris Valley, Hastings got swept in a couple of ugly games. First game had a late lead. Jonas Levin, who'd pitched 3 times in 4 days up to that point, was brought into the ball game and gave up more runs than he had all season. Inflated his ERA by 6 earned runs. But he's fresh to go tonight, as is the rest of the Sodbusters bullpen. Still dealing with some other injuries, obviously. Arms not back in shape, but the days off, the rest day, and then most of today that they've been able to rest their arms, it will help the Sodbusters tonight. Western Nebraska hasn't played a game in 4 days, so they are back on the road. Then they will return home for 6 games. The lineup for Western Nebraska, it's not so much concerning hitting-wise. but as far as their pitching staff goes, it's the best in the league. We had the chance to catch up with head coach Scott Stover before the game to talk about the last series and what he thinks about this upcoming one with the Western Nebraska Pioneers. Head coach Scott Stover here, and Coach, we returned home yesterday. Probably feels pretty good to be home.
It does, a long road trip. It's our longest one of the year, so it's good to get it out of the way. And it started off really good, being 3-2, and we felt good about going into that last series. But we just kind of ran out of gas. Our pitching our starters didn't stretch us out as long as we'd like to have, but it also didn't help that they weren't getting some defensive help in some certain innings. But the long trip last night, 11.5 hours, and get back here, and the park looks great. And I see a good party going down here for some of the fans. So I hope we have a really good crowd tonight, and I think that'll really ignite our guys.
Playing a team, Western Nebraska Pioneers, that you're 0-5 against so far this season. They've swept it twice, once there and once here. It's a big series for you. You got some room to catch up in the division. Yeah,
it would have been nice to at least get one of those games up there in Minot, and it would have been 4-4 on the trip. 3-5 makes it a little harder. So we lost some ground, but I think we're only a couple games behind Spearfish. So we got to make sure if we play well this series, I think we can jump right back where we want to be. But the most important thing is getting that first win tonight. We got Trey going tonight. He's throwing the ball really well. We just pushed him back for a little kind of strain he had, but he says he feels great, so we're looking forward to tonight.
So tonight you'll have a fresher bullpen, but you're still not fully staffed.
Yeah, we had some guys get banged up, and they got some treatment out there on the road, which is good. I think about 5 of them went in to get to physical therapy and got some treatment today. But we have Meadows down. He had a little procedure thing on his forearm. He said he felt a little sore, so we're going to sit him down. It'd just be nice to start a series, fully staffed. But at least we have some good bullets right now in the back end of our bullpen that we can go to. Levin's healthy and fresh. So that I'm looking forward to that. It's just, again, a quality start is what really kind of sets the tone for us in the bullpen. So if we get a quality start from Trey, I'll feel a lot better.
And you're facing a right-handed pitcher tonight on the mound, so you have some lefties in the lineup. You put Elder in there, you put Colby Force. What do you expect out of your lineup tonight facing the righty?
Yeah, I'd love to have 4 lefties in there, but we have the 3. And Earps has been swinging that a little better. Colby had a good BP, had a couple balls out of this huge yard, so this is his first time at home. He met us in Dickinson, so it'd be nice to see the fans have a good chance to see him play and what he can do. Elder, has been, obviously, look at those numbers, he's been consistent. So if we can get those guys to swing the bat like they've been doing on the road, and with Barodell, get him hot again, Oblas, I think we could have a really good series.
I know it's really early still in the season, about a third of the way through it, but do you feel like this is, maybe one of the biggest series of the year?
I do, yeah. It's still, we're just over a third of the way, and but with the ground we lost and the team we're playing here, if we could just try to keep second place in reach to get that playoff spot, winning the division would be great. But to get that playoff spot and get in the playoffs, I think with a shorter series we'd have a better advantage. So this is, I would say this is the biggest series of the year thus far.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, we're back at Duncan Field. Hastings Sodbusters have taken the field. Trey Kissick out on the mound, getting warm for the Sodbusters. And the defense behind him looks like this. He'll throw to Brooks Asher. First baseman is Jake Oblas. DeSantis at second. Carter Elliott at third, and Josh Earps at shortstop. And then in left field is Colby Force. Center field is Tyler Doherty. And Sean Barodale is in right. The lineup he'll face once again is Andrew Bates leading off, Brandon Boning in the 2-hole, Luther Woolard in batting third, Jack Pulley is the cleanup hitter, Bo Bratton in the 5 spot, Colin Ludwig in the 6-hole, Isai Hernandez batting 7th, Travis Turney batting 8th, and Lane Harvey will round out the lineup for the Western Nebraska Pioneers. Trey Kissick is second in the league in strikeouts with 29 on the season. Pretty impressive numbers from him so far. The Grand Island native UNC Greensboro Spartan posting a 2.64 ERA. He's 2-0. 3 games he's pitched. He missed the start on the road trip, dealing with some shoulder stiffness. But he says his arm is fresh tonight. Might take a little bit to find the zone, knocking some rust off. But we'll see what he's got against a Pioneers lineup stacked with lefties.